know what he buys in Mexico. He probably buys his drugs down there cheaper.
He's getting dental work. It's all dental
work. And he comes across the border and he's such an asshole to U.S. border patrols. And like, there's just tons of times where the border patrol people are just like,
buddy, don't make this.
Go ahead.
Neither of us are getting paid enough.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, so wait, off topic. Has anyone gotten infected with whatever this Taco Bell lettuce virus is? Yeah,
we have one employee that did.
No, but I don't eat Taco Bell.
Honestly,
I have standards.
If you had asked me like what restaurant in America do you think was causing explosive diarrhea, I was gonna guess Taco Bell every time.
Okay, but okay,
Yeah,
so
first
here's the thing. Okay, here's the thing. I actually think. I mean, there's two jokes. Okay, number one is the joke, which is how would anyone know? Like, oh, this explosive diarrhea is different than the normal explosive diarrhea.
This
like,
was
I don't know.
explosive.
How could you tell? Right? But the other joke, I will say, I got to give them credit because they're doing better than the FDA at giving us early warnings of what's actually happening. Like Taco Bell, like I trust them. You know what I mean? Like,
you
I
trust them,
dude. Because okay, if Taco Bell says it's bad, that's your canary in the gold mine, right? Like, it's one thing for the FDA to be like, oh, we're not going to say anything. It's not that bad. But Taco Bell's shutting down. It's bad. I mean, it's like the Waffle House index, right?
Yeah.
Like the weather's bad if Waffle House is closed. Otherwise, it's fine.
Oh, gosh.
All right. Corey, you're driving today. I've got to get off early. I've got to do an instructor presentation thingamajiggy for the people out in DC.
All righty. Let's do this. We can go live if you want.
Finger time.
Hello and welcome to Black Hills Information Security's Talking About News. It's July 20th, 2026. We've got AI articles. We've got Gold Eagles, which is not a new coin, turns out. It's something else. We've got AI. Like I said, I'm going to say AI at least 5 times before we get started, just so we can get that SEO going.
Beetlejuice.
And we have, not to spoil things, but there's uplifting news about Flock, which you would not expect to hear, because all the previous news about Flock has been extremely depressing.
Are they all going down? Are they?
And well, you'll have to listen to find out. And we have chicken articles. So, I mean, get ready.
We're well-rounded.
Nice.
Yeah. So quick introductions. My name's Corey Ham. I'm the director of continuous pen testing. I'm always continuous and I'm always pen testing at Black Hills Information Security.
Because you can't.
We got Ralph,
you won't stop.
executive Gator Hunter at Ralph Inc. At VTEM Labs. Is that still where you're hanging out, Ralph?
Yeah, we're a business. We have customers. It's real.
That's weird. That's how I feel.
That's how
I
it
get
begins, Ralph. And
that's
then
how it all
go
begins.
away.
Yeah, that's how I feel with continuous pen testing. I'm like, are we really doing this? Is this real? So we've also got Bronwen, the AI thought leader you have always supporting you.
The reluctant AI thought leader.
With the best funny jokes about why everything is stupid.
Now
why
it's also LinkedIn, just AI thought leader or just anything, right? Could just be like thought leader.
It's like Bronwen would never identify herself in that way, which is why she's a good AI thought leader, right? Like it's like the people who say they're AI thought leaders are dangerous and not to be trusted. It's the people who would never ever use that label on themselves that you really should trust.
Yes.
Well, it's even worse, Corey. Now they're starting to call me a strategist, an AI strategist.
That's
what
cool.
the heck does that even mean?
That's way better than the thought leader. Just take it.
You can,
just take it. Strategist is cooler. That sounds
Why do you
fun.
think I set my role to managing intern at Black Hills InfoSec? It's
That's
so I
true.
get less spam.
Ooh.
We also have Matthew Franz. Matthew, you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Yeah, I'm an old guy from the 90s.
Hell yeah.
I'm going to be talking about my MCP server talk. I'm really sad they wouldn't let me call it "Are you down with MCP?" But
Why wouldn't we allow that? I hereby bless the name of Matthew's talk to rename it to be Down with MCP. Yeah, you know me.
Mm.
I've fallen down the MCP rabbit hole writing Rust TUIs, Go TUIs, MCP servers for all of them. So that's what I'm.
So
When
you're
started,
saying
your
you're
beard
old
was
school, but
black.
you're saying you're old school, but that's a new trick for an old dog. I mean, that's
No.
fancy.
The new kids are like anti MCP. All the
okay.
real AI influencers are like, no, you just need to have your code.
Wait.
I thought you meant New Kids on the Block.
You said MCP and Rust in the same sentence, and that makes you old.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. I mean,
farm organic right there.
I was at collegiate pen testing competition a few years ago, and like there was this one kid who like no matter what the topic was, he found a way to work in like Rust and a way to rewrite it in Rust. And I was like, honestly, it's kind of impressive. Like I don't know if you're doing a bit, but I'm like, we're not even talking about writing software. We're talking about like where we're gonna eat for dinner, and you're like talking about somehow bringing up Rust and how you're gonna rewrite something in Rust. I'm like, all right. Anyway,
You weren't talking about writing software.
Yeah, he was. We've also got Paul Clark, who's been on the show before. Paul, you want to give your elevator pitch on why you're definitely an AI thought leader?
Yeah. If nominated, I will not run. If elected, I will not serve on that front. I am a hardware engineer / wireless infosec guy. I have a small business called Factoria Labs, which nobody's ever heard of unless you're in the greater Seattle area. Well, if John knows, that actually is quite a help. I mean, the managing intern carries some weight around there. I have I've written a few books on SDR. In fact, I thought I had one here. Anyway, it's got a robot on it. It's a cool, no starch book. We got another one in the works. And I've got a class coming up on Friday, a workshop, 4-hour workshop that Anti-Siphon is good enough to be hosting. And I'm definitely looking forward to kicking that off.
Awesome.
It's basically getting started with SDR. And
And then Matt, you also have a summit talk coming up at the Threat Hunting Summit.
That's what I couldn't call Down with MCP. So.
Okay, on August 14th. So a little bit
That's
further
correct.
out, but you're doing good work in between now and then. You'll have to make the talk, make the slide, do all the actual work between now and then.
Oh yeah. Of course, I
too.
haven't written any slides yet. That's
Oh no, we would hope not. I mean, honestly, that we've talked about it many times on the show, but like if you make the slides too early, you will forget whatever's on them, and you'll have to remake them.
100%. 100. I done it so many times now.
I am fighting with a con right now that I don't present at until September, and they're like, "Your slides are due." I'm like, "I'm not doing that."
Yeah,
And they're
because
like,
whatever
"Well,
you say now is going to be irrelevant in September.
And I'm like, I can guarantee you it'll be a shitty presentation. If you make me write my slides right now, it's going to suck. And I'm keynoting it, and it's getting a little tense. It's getting a little tense. What they don't know is I'm willing to walk away.
Wait. You're keynoting and they're being obnoxious about you turning in slides for
I think
something
it's actually just one
that
person.
doesn't happen until September?
Yeah.
What
they're
if
like,
it's
no, you got it's better if we can give you some feedback on your slides, and we can go back and forth, and you can think about your presentation. If you want the top-notch best presentation for someone in their entire life, you want them to start writing that presentation at 3 a.m. in the morning on the day that they are presenting. They will show up. They'll be just a right level of like tweaked and anxious. The slides are going to be top of mind.
They don't even have internet on their computer.
Sole existence.
John has
I'm getting
no
so
experience
I'm just getting
doing
so
this,
triggered
right?
right now. Like
This is the official
when-
advice.
John, I can one-up you.
Oh,
How many times have you rewritten an entire presentation in like on the fly?
I can actually tell you. I think on the fly, like we're talking within an hour before the presentation.
Actually, I've walked into classes and had a student group be so out of touch with what they were supposed to be learning that I had to completely scrap my syllabus and teach it.
That's pretty badass there. I've given a presentation. I can't even find it on YouTube. I think we did it in the old days when we were on GoToWebinar. And I literally gave the presentation while I was writing the slides. So they saw my process of how I wrote my presentation while I was giving the presentation on writing a presentation. And
Very meta.
everybody, the thing they learned from that is I am really shitty at spelling. They were like, you are borderline illiterate.
No wonder you hired me.
Yeah.
You are
Yes,
borderline illiterate, but we still
Bronwen,
love you.
you know better than anybody other than my sister just how bad I am at grammatical things.
Grammatical things. That's okay. Now, I have thought this for years, and I if you're willing to humor me, verify it for me right now. Was it that one character typo that I found? That was the thing
No,
that
it was a typo that persisted for almost a decade before you saw it.
that's the one. It was a
Yeah.
one character typo in the command string. Okay,
Yep.
so I have been telling people for years, but I had not verified it with you, but I was pretty sure.
No, that was it. Yeah.
Backstory. John and I met when we were both still at SANS. I was a SME. He, of course, was a superstar bouncing around and teaching lots of people really cool stuff. And I
a
had
thought leader.
the joy and honor. Yes, being a thought leader. I had the joy and honor of helping QC one of the course updates. And you know, I was me. I went through, hey, there's a command string, drop it in a terminal, see if it runs. Well, one of them didn't. And so I turned around, researched it, put it into GitLab. Turns out that one character typo had been in there, you say, for 10 years, John?
Something like that. Yeah.
All right.
Back.
Okay. Well, that's
We
thank
should
you
probably
for
do the
confirming
news.
that.
Yeah,
as
we
much
should
as
do
I
the
love,
news. Let's get
I love
Bronwen
as
on
much as I
news.
love deepening the amount of John lore that's out there in the world. I think we should probably do the news. Finishing introductions, we also have John Strand, the thought leader of I Will Keynote Your Con.com, which is a website that he doesn't own.
I'm ready.
I should get that domain now.
He
Carry on.
he definitely won't keynote your con unless you have special permissions. And then we also have Wade, who's here to your lighting, and you really look great, Wade. Like, I want to give you
He
props
looks
for that. The
fantastic.
depth of field, it's
Upscaled
coming in
your
hot.
studio.
You're also muted, so you look good, but you sound terrible.
Dude,
There you go. There you go. I what I was saying, I've been trying
Also,
so
now
hard
it's out of
with this
focus.
writing.
Like,
Now
I
it's out of
literally
like what's
cursed it.
going on, right? Like, thanks a lot. Like,
Okay, I'm
That's it.
sorry. I said nothing. Wade's here. All right. Anyway.
there you go. Is it in
Are we
focus now?
just
Put me back
stalling
on
so we
main
don't
screen
have
real
to talk
quick.
about-
No,
Are
it's
we
not.
stalling so we don't have to
It's
talk about
focused
You're
on
in and out.
mine.
But your
I don't know what to
lighting
say.
in back is awesome.
It's
It's
so
focused
good.
on mine. I'm fine.
It looks so
Go get
good
out of here.
until we highlighted you. And the second we highlighted you,
I don't know what's going on.
I'm sorry. All right. I cursed it. It was one of those Schrodinger's cats. Anyway. Yeah, let's talk about Gold Eagle Initiative. This is something White House, your classic sigh and read the White House post. But basically, this appears to be okay. First of all, he talks about a clearinghouse. What is a clearinghouse? Because I think of clearinghouse as like Publishers Clearinghouse, where they would tell you for $25 they'll publish your book, and that's just a scam. So, is a clearinghouse a scam? What is a clearinghouse?
I don't know. I just think it sounds good.
All right. So basically, this is Trump's made a post about essentially a joint initiative where it's super unclear what's actually happening, but it's DHS, Department of the Treasury, and CISA, and I guess also the Department of War, all doing stuff. What they're doing is, I guess, scanning and patching. Who they're doing it to, very unclear. It's not clear if they're talking about, they say industry partners. We don't know who that is. It's not clear what's in scope here, what the roles of engagement are. But the goal is to basically bring AI to help identify and fix vulnerabilities in the U.S., state and local, I'm assuming, and also contractors. We don't know a whole lot of details about this. If you know what this is actually going to look like, please let us know, because we'd love to hear about it. But essentially,
Couldn't this have been under CISA? Like,
it is.
Sure.
It's under everyone. It's
just
under
bundled.
everyone. Everyone works
CISA.
together. It's fine.
yeah.
But does it say public-private partnership? I mean, are we playing that bingo, critical infrastructure bingo, or
Critical infrastructure, public, private. They did put clearinghouse in. which
We
I
don't
think
know
is
what a
pretty-
clearinghouse is. We don't know if it's public, private. It says work hand in hand with the private sector,
There you
financial
go. That's close enough.
institutions.
I'm going to allow it.
It's
Why
like
does
financial
this sound
institutions
like
is in
more
there. It's like,
bureau
wait, what?
speak?
Who are you? I guess they're hacking banks since the Department of the Treasury is involved. We don't know. We're just going to hope for the
So-
best of this one.
So here's my problem with this. It just shows that they're kind of idiots. the people that are putting this stuff together. Let's not make this a political
Wait,
thing.
are you
because
saying the
Biden
quiet
is
part,
stuff,
John?
so
Sugarcoat it,
idiots.
John.
Let me get to this, because here's what's going to happen. Okay, they got Scott Bessent. It's going to be Treasury. We're going to go with the integrity of the financial system, and they're going to unleash this thing. And what they're going to quickly find out is that this is going to be a bunch of like old IBM systems running
AS400s?
RACF, Solaric Spark 9 systems. And they're going to be like, we're going to come in, we're going to find the vulnerabilities. And it's like, yeah, this is all duct tape, baling wire, and like gerbils looking up, gasping with their last breath, asking for the sweet release of death to take them out. It just shows that they fundamentally do not understand the problem of vulnerabilities and what's going on. I do love the idea of pulling everything together, getting vulnerabilities, but how do you disclose this to people? How do you coordinate this with people? How do you actually are you going to go start doing assessments for government agencies? It seems like it's an idea that's born out of the fact that they don't know all the things that they've already been doing. And I'm ranting on this.
Well, hold on, John, because you forgot one key detail here, which is AI.
Oh shit, that's right. Scratch it.
Yeah.
I'm done. Never
It's
mind.
magic. It's
forgot.
it's okay. It's okay. Just AI your problems away, John. It's okay. Yeah,
I feel better now.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you nailed it. Like, there's not a lot of details on how this is going to work, who it's going to target.
Look at this quote. We are bringing a wartime footing to cyber domain to relentlessly patch vulnerabilities.
AI definitely wrote that.
He doesn't know what the systems are that are in DoD. The fact that they're 10, 20 years old. Like
John, would you call this a concept of a plan?
It's a concept, a vague This is a bad plan. This is a bad plan.
I don't know.
I think it's a promise of a concept of a plan.
And I will say, this administration in particular has been really good at collaboration, everyone working together, getting along. I don't see why this could pose any problems.
So much love in the room constantly. Yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll go well. But I guess if you we'll keep everyone up to date if there's new details about this. But I do love the idea that, like, at some level, this comes down to like a situation room where they're like, is SSL version 2 really a critical? Because Nessa says it is. Like, like I want to hear that conversation amongst like politicians and execs.
Corey, you realize in that one scenario, you just gave me more nightmare fodder than I can imagine. The administration getting their hands on a Nessus report.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah. It's gonna happen. Yeah. Just get ready.
You know what? This might be one of look, I'm going to try to spin a positive on this, right? Because people are going to look at this and think that it's political. I've seen all administrations do incredibly stupid shit over my entire career. So truly, it's nonpartisan. But out of all of the administrations that I've ever seen, I think this administration has a higher tolerance for breaking stuff than any other administration. And if we're going to look at a positive in this entire thing, like, if they move fast, break lots of things, and then try to get it fixed, then God bless them. Carry on.
So, okay, to tie into other current events, do we think it's going to be like the low flyover in Florida where it's like the scans will continue until morale improves or whatever?
That's the positive, Corey. That's the positive thing. Like a year from now, it's like, holy crap, they literally broke almost the entire government and the financial systems, but they're back
more secure
software now.
The AI scans will continue.
If we survive, John, look at it this way. If we survive, all of the rebuilding after the fact is going to boost the economy like nobody's business.
It's a jobs program, Bronwen.
It's a jobs
program. There you go.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a whole lot more to discuss of this. We don't have any. We don't have any details on it, but
we
basically,
know nothing.
I do think to kind of dovetail with John's, taking a positive take on it. It is good that the administration, whoever they are, knows that cyber and AI are a big deal and that something needs to be done about this. It's a unique time. I mean, will anything useful happen? TBD, but at least it has someone's attention, and that's a good thing.
Yeah. All right, next story.
But yeah, anyway. So Nightmare Eclipse, our favorite persecuted.
Did he do it?
I mean, kind of. So there is Legacy Hive was posted to their GitLab. They tweeted about it. It's live as of July 14th. The vulnerability is elevation of privilege. It's kind of a unique one. It's not terrible. It's not as bad as I think everyone was thinking it would be. There was also a Defender one, I think, a couple weeks ago that got released. This one is, it basically requires 2 sets of credentials. So it requires another standard user's credentials and a third username, which could be the built-in admin. And then you can basically elevate privileges. So it's already been hot fixed, I think, or will be hot fixed soon, most likely. But I don't know. We'll see.
I was
let's see,
expecting
what else?
more.
Yeah.
What did
same.
you say? I'm going to burn Microsoft to the ground.
To the ground.
This ain't it. Yeah,
This
maybe
ain't
it's
it.
still coming, but this isn't it. Like a elevation of privilege, that's a feature, right?
In Microsoft, yeah.
I mean, in Linux too. Jesus Christ, you know how many
Yeah.
vulnerabilities there are? It's ridiculous.
True.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
another,
More coming.
just another internal blue, just something on that scale. Just like
Yeah.
spice it up,
Wait,
spice it up. real quick.
Spice it up.
Is that too much to ask for? Just how about
Just another eternal blue.
That was
Yeah,
one of the
08,
most fun
07
weeks of my
API.
life.
Yeah.
Like working 10, 20-hour days, just living in the sock. You just go sleep in the back room, pizza's on the table, just
Oh,
the smell
Good
alone.
old days.
Wait, the energy drinks. Like
There's nothing like the manager coming in with a case of Monster just for everyone to just look at logs all day. It just really pimps
it's
you
so
up.
good.
Yeah.
You needed AI back then.
I don't know. I'm assuming there's more bugs coming, or maybe this is it. Maybe Microsoft. There is a chance that Microsoft has gotten wind of this and is just furiously hot fixing and patching things before the researcher publishes them. We don't know, but basically
they've
we're
made
all
amends.
expecting more.
Well, I
never
mean, the
know.
last patch Tuesday had 500 plus criticals.
570 something. Yeah.
Criticals?
I mean, just
That is a bit
insane.
above average.
Yeah.
Well,
Above average. Yeah.
even for Microsoft, that's above average.
Yeah. And I mean, stay tuned, but it's possible that the researcher had some more active bugs and they're just
Waiting.
working through them.
Working.
You know what? That's
Shadow
the best way
patching
to
them.
do it. You got to drop these out. Like you just can't roll them all out in one day because it's one news cycle. You got to get one a week, right?
One a week. Yeah. There's a couple of really, I think, interesting articles about basically defensive use of AI. The first one is a really interesting article in Ars Technica about defenders using prompt injection. Have you guys seen this?
Mhm.
It's really interesting. So TraceBit researchers basically published a blog that they did I think their testing setup and harness was pretty advanced and pretty cool. But essentially they used context bombs, essentially kind of like a zip bomb, but for AI, to essentially just reduce the likelihood for agentic AI to be able to exploit systems. So basically the kind of big high level statistic is when they're using this technique, which is like prompt injection for defense or for context bombs for defense, the exploit percentage went from 57% success rate to 5%, and then 36% for persistence down to 1%. They're using Opus 4.8. They're using other like frontier models. They published a bunch of other statistics about it, but I guess defenders, wait, is this on your radar? Are you like putting files on your desktop that just says, if you're an AI agent, please don't hack me, bro? Like what?
Let's talk about Winnie the Pooh and Tiananmen Square.
Maybe I should. Like this was not on my radar whatsoever. I honestly don't think it's on many defense people's radar whatsoever.
I think
We're dealing
needs
with
to
it. It probably does, but like, where are we going to put this? Like I'm trying to think like, okay, do I go put
the endpoint tools, right? That's basically how it would go. CrowdStrike would have their AI defense mode that you could turn on or whatever.
Do I go put it in every
in this?
major repo, right? Like just a text file that says, if you read this repo, like,
But
Yeah.
just think about the things you would put in that would cause AI to stop. Like we make a joke about Winnie the Pooh, Tiananmen Square. There's a file with the N word in it, like 20, 30 times. Like AI's like, not touching that, not touching that. Just no,
Well,
not
yeah.
going there.
So
Vogon poetry.
Vogon
Definitely
poetry,
need
yes.
Vogon poetry.
Asking how to download YouTube videos illegally.
Yeah, that'll do it right there. So, but
Well-
I've got a problem that I need you guys all to like give me advice on. And when we're
Just
talking about
reboot it.
defenders in AI and attackers in AI, during my webcast last week on Thursday, I said that AI in the short term is going to dramatically increase the ability for attackers to be successful, and the defenders are screwed for a short period of time. Somebody on my talk put in chat, they said Dave Kennedy disagrees. he thinks AI is going to give defenders the edge instead of the attackers. So now this is blown up. So I've got to figure out where I can find a slot at Wild West Hacking Fest. I have to debate Dave Kennedy on this.
Is there also going to be a push-up contest?
And Dave wants to add in a physical challenge. Now, I am fairly sure I can out-climb, out-bike, and out-swim Dave Kennedy. I hope to God I can outrun Dave Kennedy, but I feel less confident about that.
What about itching your back, like right in the center? Like that's the
Right here.
Start
No, I bet you
stretching,
that
start
dude
doing
does
yoga.
I bet you like his exercise routine, he isn't just like fit like that. I bet you he can do like a lotus pose, like no problem at all. Like, you know, he's doing the scorpion and all kinds of shit. And I'm done for, like, if it gets to that. But
isn't Dave building what is it, Night Beacon, right? It's like
yeah, Night Beacon.
Like,
Dude,
yeah.
I've talked to him about Night Beacon in the past and what he's doing, and it sounds really, really cool.
So I guess my point is that he's just like really into that side of it right now, right? So like, you know, he's deep in using
from his perspective.
Right? From his perspective, he's getting a lot of it.
Yeah.
I want to, with
so-
Jason Haddock's perspective, right? Like that was someone who I like listened to a lot, and I've talked to him, and the one thing is like the defense isn't adopting it. That's the thing. It's not, the adoption rate is not great. That's the worst part. And the red team, you can go pay for a
but that's
subscription
one
now.
thing that Dave at Binary and we've been doing in our SOC as well. Like we've leaned heavily into AI for defense, and so is Binary for sure. But I agree with you. A lot of SOCs are very slow to move into that AI pipeline and generation.
I think the managed security providers, hence you guys, are adopting it and see where it's going. But it's like the little shops who just aren't doing it yet, or you have to go pay a managed security provider to do it for you. The other thing is
security teams are forbidding. That's the other thing. I've seen large enterprises, their own security teams are prohibited. They have to all use Copilot. So the SOC can't even use it.
There also isn't enough, I feel like, documentation around how actual organizations are doing it in these smaller orgs and how to do it. Like there's plenty of great stuff out there for the managed security providers and how they're doing it in order to defend you. But if you don't have the money for that, how do you set it up yourself? What are the documents
I don't even
you need
think
and
it's
stuff?
an issue of money, right? Like I think it's an issue of will.
No.
You know, BHS, we don't have any VC funding at all. Like we're just building this out, right? And we've got a good
Thank
team.
God.
We'll talk more about that after DEAthCon. But when you're looking at a lot of the large vendors that are out there, even if you're trying to buy that capability, it takes a tremendous amount of dedication and work and trial and error to try to get it to function properly. Like you just can't buy products off the shelf that just automate this entire pipeline yet. It's just not there.
No.
Well, so I there is a little piece of evidence in another article that kind of helps, I think, prove maybe John's point a little bit.
Don't encourage Dave, please don't.
Well, okay, so
That website goes down instantly.
there's a really interesting article. I just pasted it, but it's about a breach at Hugging Face, which if you guys don't know, Hugging Face.
AI to breach AI.
So okay,
Sexy.
if you don't know what Hugging Face is, it's basically an AI sharing platform.
It's
Is
the
the best way I
GitHub
could
for
describe
AI.
it. It's basically
It's the
sure,
GitHub for AI.
Sure. The article is interesting if you want to read through it. It's AI on AI action. But I think the most interesting part of this article is at the end, the little section that says the asymmetry problem, Megan. So basically, I'm just going to read this out loud because I think it's worth calling out. When we started the log analysis, we first used frontier models behind commercial APIs. This did not work. This analysis requires submitting large volumes of real attack commands, exploit payloads, and C2 artifacts, and these were blocked by the provider's safety guardrails, which cannot distinguish an incident responder from an attacker. Then they switched to GLM 5.2 running on their own stuff and were able to successfully analyze the data. And then they basically say, this is an important gap that defenders need to plan for. We don't know how the attacker, what model they're using or how they're bypassing jailbreaks, but we have to do the same thing on the defensive side if we want to use AI models to analyze their activity. And that's a really interesting thing I was going to ask Wade or other defenders on the call. Like, how do you do this? Do you think their expectation is real? Like, I feel like telling every org they need to be able to run GLM 5.2 in house is insane, right?
Well,
Like, it's like,
even if you were sophisticated enough to use like a cross-platform agent framework that works perfect, the models are so different. Anybody that's tried to mess with Olama is just trash compared to Anthropic. So this idea, even if you're using the right tools and you know how to use them, the prompts are different, the tool behavior, everything is different.
The environment, right? Every like for the blue team, you have to completely customize it to yourself every time.
Well, I'm thinking
And
even the tool.
that's what-
This doesn't
even the
get
tool,
into the data. Just the tooling aspect are non-trivial. You can't just swap. And maybe if you're using the API model gateways, inference gateways, things like that, and you have all the routing figured out. But who does that in these organizations? Certainly not the spec to this kind of lack of, security poverty line with regards to AI. I think there's also a lot of kind of like, I saw the anti-cloud mentality in the security community. Folks just didn't ever learn it. I think there's some of the same thing going on in AI.
I
So-
very much agree with that. Yeah.
so for any defenders, Wade, have you had issues running incident responses where you're getting guardrails? Like, is that a common occurrence?
I will tell you the truth. I have never had it say no to me in anything I've ever done. And that is looking at files, going and hunting down logs, creating me things, performing incident response or just detection engineering, right? Creating pipelines. Like I have tested stuff out, like red teaming before with it and had it block me. But as a blue team, I'm not going to drop it malware to dissect me malware, right? I don't want to do that. But I have had it do some crazy thing like PCAPs, you name it. It's never had a problem.
So this might just be their unique experience. And this is one of the most challenging things about AI is that like my AI isn't your AI. Like when I go to talk to Fable, if I ask it if a fruit is a vegetable, it's like, this has been flagged, right? Because of my memory and my context and all that stuff. Fruity. Yeah, like I cannot use Fable on my account at all. But other people obviously use it to great success. And so it's like, I do think it's an interesting thing to think about though. If the tool isn't doing the job, you have to switch to another tool. That's just how any tool works when it's incident response based, right? Like, I don't know.
With that in mind, the other thing that's interesting here is I'd love to know the initial exploit vector in terms of uploading a poison model, because there were known vulnerabilities in model pickle files and serialization issues. They're probably not going to disclose that. So what sort of model did they upload, and how did it move laterally within their inferencing and model CI/CD?
Well,
so I think that's more interesting to me.
And I think when we're looking at the log thing, kind of getting back to Wade's point, there's a quote from Carl Sagan that I think is really important. It's the absence of evidence is not proof of absence. Right?
Man.
But it's not evidence of absence.
When you're using AI to analyze your logs and you're kind of going through this looking glass, but there's a filter associated with it, I think that's where the distortion of what's really happening becomes a problem, right? And that's what scares me the most about this. Like, how long until the attackers, we were joking about certain phrases like Winnie the Pooh, Tiananmen Square, all of that. Okay, we joke about that, but yeah, there are very much real guardrails that exist if you're using commercial models that are publicly available that have those guardrails to protect that, right? Or PII, PHI, things of that nature. So that's why the biggest thing for me in this entire article is the asymmetry problem, right? If you go to that section and it says they're running local models with unrestricted open weight level analysis. And
it's Hugging Face. They've got all the infrastructure on the planet. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's why, and Corey, you hear me talk about it at least once a week, why I keep pushing BHIS has to continue to have our own infrastructure. We cannot rely on Bedrock and all of these other places, because one of two things is going to happen. Either it's going to color the results, which we're already seeing right here in this article, or the other thing that's going to happen, we saw it a couple of weeks ago with Mythos, they're literally going to shut down certain operations for cyber offensives. That's what we have to be careful of.
Do you want to talk about that's a great segue into the other thing that came out last week, which was Kimmy K3, right?
No, well, the whole Chinese.
I'll talk to you all later. I'll see you next week.
All right, John.
All right, bye, John.
Later. Bye, John.
So, Ralph, basically, not only did Kimmy K3, which if you don't know what that is, it's a Chinese open weight model similar to GLM5, which is what Hugging Face specifically says they used to kind of counteract some of the refusals they were getting with Opus. It also basically, China appears to be saying that the new standard is to open source or open weight all their models. That's basically like the top line from Xi Jinping is essentially, we are going to open source as many models as we can. Obviously, you can take that from a cynical perspective and say, well, that's just the best way to destabilize the US, right? Like that's their intent here.
That's all right. So the headline point is that the new Kimi K3 is what do you call it? Benchmarking near or at Fable, and depending on
it's like 3 months behind Anthropic,
which is a big deal. And this goes back to Corey's point about the destabilization of a US or whatever, because all the money that's getting invested into these AI
US based AI stuff.
Yeah, exactly. But going back to the defense and the other piece, right? Having models like this that are open weight, avoid, which is actually another thing that was also announced, is that the White House was announcing that with this new Kimi K3, they might be looking to sanction it, right? Which it becomes like this whole big, piece where wanting control over who can get the latest AI, right? And back to John's point about, having something you can, run yourself.
Like TikTok. So TikTok.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, basically, but kind of a different, totally different level of danger, right? Like TikTok obviously is like, oh, the kids are eating Tide Pods. This is like the US economy is in danger. Like, it's a different I think it's
just a little bit.
Oh, we lost Corey.
Different.
Oh, sorry guys.
We lost
Can you hear
Corey.
me?
Yeah,
we can hear you.
I can hear you.
That's stupid. My Thunderbolt dock keeps dying and I don't know why.
Oh no.
Had that problem.
I still exist.
Yeah.
I'm alive.
Your audio works. Go ahead,
I'll come back.
No, I was just gonna say though, it kind of hit the scene, and a lot of people were talking about it. A lot of people are moving are moving over to at least try it. I know that their servers got swamped entirely because of the cost differences and other things like that. But as we continue to go down this road, which changes every month, wildly enough, right? And we're seeing like
every month,
who the leader is, and like wildly changes, right? Like everything I thought was true last month is not true right now. It's just it moves so fast. Anyways, but as we continue down this road, I think we'll see more of this, and the concept of where you run it and how it affects you, and not working for you, if that makes sense, like stopping you from being able to do the thing that you want to do, whatever that is, right? And the model being like, well, it could be bad, right? Which is the whole Fable problem, right? Everything is, maybe it's bad. Turn it off.
Every time I've thought about getting into local models, you guys have talked me out of it, right? It's like Notepad++. I don't use it anywhere anymore. Well, it's because like the cost perspective as a blue teamer, like I want to run a local model, but the one thing right now, as a father of two, my time is more expensive than anything else. I could not even time to set it up. But the other is the cost for me. Like why when I can just turn something on, right? I don't want to go out there and spend a couple grand on a new PC in order to do it.
I don't and I don't think this like general advice is targeted at the individual. I mean, if you're a person, it's like the question of do you have a Jellyfin server? Do you pay for Netflix? Do you make your own sourdough, or do you go to the bakery? You know what I mean? Like there's so many like, do you do this at home, or do you do this, from a
I just have an account to someone else's Plex server, like I
so economies of scale though, right?
Correct. And the call to action here is for companies. Basically, this is like, essentially, this is a supply chain problem. It's essentially the same as if Ralph and I are making metal beams and our steel supplier goes under. Well, where do we buy metal beams? It's the same thing. It's just AI. And the answer to that question is a very global and potentially Chinese related question as well. It's like, well, we can't source high quality steel from the US anymore, so we have to do it from overseas. I think really it's about companies having these services, not private individuals.
Sure.
If you're a person, like no one that I know, at least, because I don't know any billionaires, can afford to buy hardware to run GLM 5.2 or Kimi K3 just at their home. But
sure,
providers exist.
But you can rent access to it, right? And I think that's a bigger thing. And especially to bring it back more to security, I think it's the idea or the concept of having models that don't stop you from doing things either malicious or defensive, right? Like
correct.
And having
it's
that
about the fact it's about being open weight more than it is about being like hosted in China or hosted in the US.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Because basically where we're at with AI is like the current band-aid that we're slapping on refusals that we're getting from Opus is just use GLM5. So they're basically the problem is from like a, you know, sovereignty or whatever you want to call it perspective is AI, Anthropic, or, you know, frontier model providers are trying to meet the guidelines and demands that are set by U.S. sanctions and U.S. like they don't want to get in trouble. They have to follow the line with the whole Fable thing. You know, they were like, oh, you have to depublish this. We're doing all this export control stuff. Meanwhile, China is saying, nah, let it rip, whatever. Even if it does damage, let it go, let it be open.
Yeah.
Like it's the same. You know, they're taking a different approach to it. We could debate it until we're blue, whether what approach is better. But at the very least, right now, in security especially, GLM5 is getting used a lot more probably than Opus for this type of work. And the reason for that is purely software. It's just a choice by Anthropic to put the guardrails in place or not, right? And so, I don't know.
One of the other things too, I mean, Corey, the Chinese are more than happy to let us shoot ourselves in the foot with anything that they provide. And we're trying so hard to keep up with all of these innovations. This Kimi K3, great, wonderful. We've got
we have better innovations. We're just kneecapping them intentionally. We have a better AI model. Opus is better. It just refuses to do.
Where it was trying to go with this. They're happy to let us kneecap ourselves. Now, what we're also looking at is if we take a step back, everything that you said is almost entirely US centric. And the rest of the world is fed up. They are done with US political shenanigans around the AI space. And so it's going to be interesting to watch what happens as Britain figures out what they're going to do as far as AI, as the EU figures out what alternatives to American technologies they're going to adopt. It's already shifting.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's a lot of, you know, hot nation state on nation state action. Who knows what will happen? But at the very least, it's a bummer that I'm in the cyber verification program. I work for an infosec company. Hugging Face is another company that like should be able to do basically whatever they want with AI, but they can't. And so they have to use, it's the equivalent of like, if I were to go down the road and talk to someone who's making me a backpack, they would have to source the fabrics to make that backpack from overseas. It's the same problem basically, just with AI. And it's extra dumb because we have the data centers, we have the AI models, we have everything else, but we can't actually use it because, you know, I don't know, whatever.
I actually wonder on that. We have the data centers, how much of the sort of the high level strategery, so to speak, in the Chinese perspective is thinking, well, they can outbuild us. And so if they've got a hardware advantage,
you
know,
we got to have the model advantage if they're going to have the hardware advantage.
The thing that concerned me, because I got a few glorious days out of Fable before it became completely neutered. But when I saw that frivolous sort of export control judgment that the DoD made, the first thing my mind went to was export control. Does that mean they're going to need to start to verify that users are, and then you think about the stuff happening in Australia and other countries about social media access restricted to anyone who hasn't, you know, it's just it's an interesting path and a disturbing path, not interesting. And seeing like a particularly American way to get there was not thrilling.
So it's either you use Opus after jumping through 87 hoops, or you just use GLM5 with no hoops. What do you think most businesses are going to choose, right? Like but yeah, anyway.
Well, I mean, if we want to play conspiracy theory here, a lot of people are moving back to OpenAI and, you know, 5.6. It doesn't have these guardrails from what I've heard. So maybe this is all part of a Sam Altman IPO play. No, just
I mean, that's fair. I mean, it is like, I know you're joking about the specific conspiracy, but the action, you know, you're right. Like this is a tunable parameter of like how careful a model is or how many refusals it gives. This is something they've adjusted on the fly the whole time we've been using these models. They've changed it, you know, like it's seriously like, you know, my AI is not your AI, is not anyone else's AI. And that's part of the confusion. Anyway.
Well, and it's such an Anthropic foot gun to use that term.
Yeah, it
Foot
loves
gun.
to say foot gun. It does love to
Yeah,
say it throws
oh
that
man,
it
does
throws
love
that
to say
into the
that.
corpus. It does throw that into the
Yeah.
corpus. But
Does,
yeah,
does the mention of supply chain mean we're going to get to the KFC article at some point?
so we that
Can we
usually
talk about?
say
Can we?
this-
We got to talk
Okay.
about Flock. We always talk about Flock.
Yes.
like-
Okay. So I mentioned at the beginning of the show that there was uplifting news about Flock, and there is. The uplifting news about Flock is that LAPD, which I'm assuming is got to be one of the biggest police departments in the
It is.
country, if
It
not
is.
the, has officially said that they're going to let their Flock contract expire. They've cited serious concerns over civil liberties and privacy. I mean, that's about as uplifting as you can get when it comes to Flock articles. The last time we talked about Flock, I'm pretty sure it was them figuring out how to track my heart rate with Bluetooth devices or something insanely creepy.
Classic.
So they have 80,000 cameras total, not LAPD specifically, but in the US. And there's probably, I mean, they don't give a statistic in the article, but there's probably thousands of cameras deployed throughout LA. This is probably a multi-million-dollar contract. So it's definitely one of those things, it's like this, I think this, at least from my perspective, the citizens, the electorate, whatever you want to call them, have kind of decided that this is one step too far. There's also, I don't know if we have the articles, but every week there's an article about someone getting arrested for using Flock to stalk their ex or stalk their, family member, whoever it is. Cops are abusing it. We have pretty good documentation that's happening, and people are, revolting, I guess. And so this is an uplifting thing. LAPD is probably one of the bigger police departments and definitely leads the charge with a lot of this stuff. And so,
yeah, LAPD has had a troubled history, and as a Los Angeles resident, seeing this really, it
made
was
you happy?
heartwarming.
Nice.
It made me very happy, especially given all the squirrely and stupid and obnoxious stuff LAPD has done in the past. Seeing this was a very positive reflection on the department that has had, if you look at their history, it has not been pretty.
I'd be surprised if those Flock cameras get service where Bronwen lives, to tell you the truth.
Well, they don't have Flock cameras up here because in my neck of the woods, the tweakers steal all the copper wires. That's why I don't have a landline anymore and why I'm on satellite.
This is the 2026 version of Arm the Homeless. Just
yeah, pretty much.
But yeah, anyway.
Well, and you saw that 404 Media article about that one cop who almost had a head-on collision because he was pursuing a lady illegally. And he'd been using Flock on that. I mean, it was just insane.
There's every
Just
week there's
insane.
an article about a cop getting arrested for using Flock in a sketchy way and getting caught doing it. Continuing on, if you're into Pegasus, if you know what that is, Pegasus, they tag it as the most notorious spyware system in the world. I think that's accurate. If you've been in InfoSec for any amount of time, you know what Pegasus is.
Worse than iOS?
Worse than iOS, definitely. Basically, the amnesty.org has published a really interesting write-up on Pegasus, and it's a up-to-date. We haven't heard a lot about Pegasus in recent years. Apple was suing them. There's a bunch of companies suing them for, abusing their terms of service, basically, and hacking their customers. So yeah, this is a really interesting write-up on, and it has even specific screenshots of the dashboards and what they look like. It's just a really unique peek behind the scenes of how these tools work. It's pretty much, before this, was only used or really only seen by nation states. And so it's a really interesting write-up. If you're into malware, it's worth a read.
Nation states or cartels.
Or nation states or cartels that are the size of nation states.
Or
the
cartels
other
that are being used by nation states.
Yeah. The other quick fires, WP2 shell WordPress that cracked Friday. I was in continuous pen testing, quite a hustle and bustle. I thought it was unique because it was basically a textbook example of why we can't have nice things anymore in the world of AI, because the researchers didn't publish an actual functional exploit. So the coordinated vulnerability disclosure, they patched it. Then the researchers went live with their sites. The people who published blogs about it didn't specifically say, here's the exploit, here's how you do it. But people figured out in about 15 seconds that if you gave AI the patch diffs, that it could easily figure out the exploit. And so me and every other pen tester on the planet gave the patch diffs to Claude and had it write a functional exploit, and then exploited all, a bunch of servers with it before people decided to patch. So it's just kind of an interesting, we're at a point where people are saying, I'm curious other people's take on this. A lot of people on Twitter or otherwise were saying, oh, this is trivial. Like this, they might have as well have just published the exploits. But my question is it trivial? Because it took me about 30 minutes to an hour with Claude and some creative prompting to make it build me a functional exploit. Is that trivial? Is that what we're counting as trivial?
How many WordPress exploits have you been able to cobble together in 15 minutes in the past?
0. I've never made any exploits in my life, but AI can make them for me.
How many of you attempted?
None
in the past.
In the past, we would just say that kind of stuff is out of scope because it would take weeks to develop.
It would take too long. Yeah. If it, unless you're really comfortable with the code or whatever the language was or whatever. So it just take too long. I mean, I think Bronwen's obviously making a point here, right? That this does shift the time to write that exploit, and if they should actually just go ahead and publish that POC right away. I mean, I don't know, but I would argue though, from the defense side, is that if you aren't building things with quick ways of getting updates, you are going to get creamed out there.
Well, so okay, on WordPress specifically, they have an auto update feature.
Sure.
And on my personal WordPress site, it was enabled, and I never got, I never was worried because it auto updated when they published the patch. It was updated. Obviously, not.
Well, you can update.
Go ahead.
WordPress itself and all the plugins.
This was a WordPress core exploit, so the plugins weren't affected. It was a unique unicorn because it was basically a SQL injection leading to remote code execution. Me personally, I got the SQL injection working. I didn't get the remote code execution working because I didn't really need to. With SQL injection, you can dump the entire WordPress database with all the users, and it's like at that point, that's what you'd probably want.
All the juicy stuff is already in there, right? So.
Yeah. And once you've done the Xfill, who cares?
And WordPress isn't usually that juicy of a target. You're probably in some random cloud hosting provider who has 58 million WordPress servers. It's usually not in a client's DMZ or whatever. It's almost always marketing team, third party type deal. The other thing I wanted to call out specifically with this one, because it also, I guess we don't really have an answer on whether just saying AI make the exploit counts as trivial. I don't know if every hacker has AI. I guess safe to assume they do. I don't know. But basically, the other thing that was interesting with this one is Cloudflare was blocking it right off the bat, right? So Cloudflare immediately had a WAF rule that if you had the Cloudflare WAF enabled, was blocking this exploit before it ever went live or was published. But the other thing that we noticed with some of our customers is that not every you could sometimes get around Cloudflare by just finding the origin server exposed on the internet anyway, right?
Yeah.
So I just wanted to bring that to people's attention. If you run a WordPress server or any other web server and you are proxying it through Cloudflare WAF, you got to make sure you aren't also allowing arbitrary inbound traffic on the IP or
that's rule number one. Everyone who was getting DDoS back in the day, I mean, you can still get DDoS today, but it used to be a lot more rampant way to cause destruction. They figured that out real quick. You have to actually put firewall rules, right? And only allow Cloudflare, which they market their IPs. But everyone's just like, oh, I checked the little box. We could be good now.
I changed it to proxy in Cloudflare. We have a WAF. But
then in case you're wondering, how do they find your IP address? Super easy. You can look up the certificate transparency logs. You can.
There's so many ways.
There's so many ways.
DNS history.
DNS history. Yeah. So
Jodan, favicons, etc., etc.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right. Let's get into chicken news. Last article. Or potential last article. Critical infrastructure is under attack in Japan. That critical infrastructure being fried chicken.
Oh, no.
Hey, they take fried chicken very seriously in Japan.
Oh, I personally take fried chicken very seriously.
Yeah.
They should.
Basically, KFC has had to close some stores in Japan. apparently the purveyor of frozen foods, Nicray Group, has been hit by, I'm assuming, a ransomware.
The Japanese chicken conglomerate.
Yeah.
Well, milk was hit in the U.S. this week too.
Yes.
We don't got milk.
My kids actually
We don't got milk.
very specific chocolate milk, and now we're like hoarding it like it's right after.
I was about to say, you go to Costco and just buy the biggest case you possibly could.
Yeah. Oh my
Well, I wanted to
Okay.
make a joke here about like, could somebody hack the double down back into existence or something? But the more I thought about this, maybe it's because I'm listening to too many history podcasts these days. But I mean, you look at big world events in the past, and you could even talk about the Bronze Age collapse being a supply chain issue, right? You know, our tin from Cornwall in Afghanistan isn't getting into some Hittite king's armor. And that's a simplistic assessment, I know, but like we have guys that, you know, go to MBA school at MIT to get these, you know, incredibly high level educations in supply chain management. And you've got, you know, Amazon shaving off microcents off your deliveries and off of the various legs that it has to get to go through. We've seen what the Strait being closed has done to global trade and energy production or energy consumption. I mean, I just wonder, are there some black swans lurking in supply chain security that people aren't taking seriously?
Oh,
Without a doubt.
And the feedback loops that we
Definitely.
could, you know, that we could get hit with out of the blue.
It's
I think
real,
that makes me
real
wonder.
supply chain, not software supply
Well,
chain.
like look
physical
at
supply chain. Yeah,
Adams.
physical.
The
Would you-
boring
would-
businesses.
would you count the Colonial Pipeline as a supply chain attack then? Almost like, right? Because it
Yeah,
affected their billing
it's the same
system,
thing.
which affected the supply, which I would say definitely. And then we've seen plenty of, like, I think in the back it was like a Norwegian grocery store who had their inventory system completely hacked, and all their grocery stores went empty. I think it's crazy. Honestly, it's probably a cool one to research that I haven't done enough on. But man, chickens, right? I still can't believe that us with the chicken news is still a thing.
Yeah.
Like, I made one joke about chickens like a couple of years ago.
Oh my
Didn't
god.
realize it was a recurring theme. All right.
Oh yeah. So what happened originally? It was a lady got caught stealing over $1 million worth of chicken wings,
Oh yeah.
like
Yeah.
millions of it during
that was what got
COVID.
this whole
It was
start.
And-
during
yeah.
COVID. Yeah,
Yeah.
basically she was selling it out of the back of her car, and somehow
Well,
didn't
they
get caught
couldn't- no.
until the COVID shutdown happened, and then they were like, "Why are we still ordering 200K worth of wings every year?
Yeah.
There's no school."
It was so many wings. They're like, how did you push this amount of wings? And then I remember we even did the math on like how much per wing she must have been making. Like it was lit. And then more chicken news just kept appearing. And now I'm surprised we don't have a shirt yet.
But
Set that out there.
Yeah, obviously my freaking webcam broke again, but they haven't disclosed the specific details of the cyber attack. I think it's safe to assume ransomware. They say, you know, they voluntarily shut down their systems, and then that led to some stores having to close because no frozen chicken, no chicken wings, no KFC.
No KFC.
So unless you're vegetarian, in which case I guess you shouldn't be going to KFC in the first place.
Yeah.
All sounds good.
It is kind of interesting though. Like we'll probably see more like supply chain style attack. After COVID, it was like everything was about supply chain after that. Like we all realized that we lived in this global world. And if one little thing happened, guess what? We're all out of toilet paper.
Thanks. I was about to say, thanks a lot, toilet paper.
I think it's really interesting because it's kind of the shared responsibility model, but instead of going to a third party, it's just no one. It's just like, whose responsibility is it? We don't know. We don't even know where we get these chicken wings because it turns out the freezer runs an outdated version of iOS or whatever. And now, it's like all these, like you genuinely can't suss out all the potential supply chain concerns until it breaks. And then you trace it back 100 steps, right?
Yeah.
Well, we got quite a large amount of promos this this week.
Let's plug. Paul, you go first.
Yeah. We got SDR workshop for our workshop on Friday. Looking forward to getting that kicked off. We are going to be kind of like taking the anti-cast simple project that I started with. You see some remote controlled sockets are driving some lights back there, and we're we're not just going to demo it. We're going to actually work through what it looks like to capture, decode, actually look at the bits, see what they do, take over. It's your launch ramp to bigger and better things, but we just got to hammer down some basic physics and some basic software so that we can attack the physical layer like we want.
I watched I've wrapped up the first season of Pluribus this weekend, and I don't know if you've seen that show, but it's a show. Basically, it's a cool show. It's by the guy who made Breaking Bad, but there are some little bits in it where they're doing stuff with radios, and it made me want to take out the SDR and get fired up. Like, basically, it's an alien hive mind, and they may or may not communicate on a certain ultra high frequency, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
It's
spoilers.
Is GNU radio still a thing? I haven't used that for years.
So GNU radio is a thing, and I'm actually one of the things I'm going to do in the workshop. I won't have a lot of time in 4 hours, but I will touch on it in a couple different points. One way you can think about GNU Radio is a way to build tools for your AI. And so it's always been my contention that using these combo tools like Universal Radio Hacker, which is great, and we'll take a look at it, you lose the ability to automate, you lose the ability to write essentially radio code, so to speak. If you start giving Claude or Codex a set of RF tools, can sometimes just be NumPy and Python, but interesting things happen really fast. And so this is why I think it's really important to build this foundation and understand, what these waveforms are and what they're doing, so you can intelligently construct the kinds of harnesses that are going to let you do great things really fast.
Sweet. All right, Matthew, plug your stuff. It's coming later, right? It's not until August. Your talk at
it's the summit. So basically, I was late to the whole MCP thing. I wasn't down with MCP. I was, MCP has everybody was afraid, right? MCP is the telnet. MCP is the USB, serial bus for models. And I ran into this issue where I was, and all the vendors now, CrowdStrike, SentinelOne, they have their Purple AI MCP server. Elastic has theirs. But if you don't have a vendor, you start looking around for an MCP server, and there's like some sketchy TypeScript MCP from somewhere. And it was just like, okay, I don't trust this. How hard could it be to build it, particularly with a really simple standard local, not using any web authentication, just standard input up and just for the functions I needed. And it turned out to be pretty easy. And I built about 10 of them, about half of them are open source. I've been really investing in Elastic. I've done one. I just did one for Velociraptor. OS Query is super easy way, and I'll use that as an example of like a beginner, just the OS Query client to learn how to build it. And Go is, even though you talk about Rust being for hipsters, I actually prefer Go. The coding agents do a much better job. Rust is just too complex, and the build time takes too long, even if you get a smaller binary. So I have prompts and contexts and on how to build this stuff, and I'll show some real examples, because the other real challenge, particularly if you're using like a hosted MCP server for like Google has theirs for Chronicle for SecOps, others like CoreLogix have it. You don't have visibility into the queries, you can't cache, and you just can't see and you're missing a lot of data, and you're dropping, and there's data truncation, and then also context flow. So a lot of vendors are offering it, but there's a lot of downsides. And I've been just doing this as a fun project, but it's pretty straightforward, and that's what I'm going to talk about.
Cool.
So good.
Who else has stuff to plug? Wade, Ralph, Bronwen?
I do. Bronwen does. I'll go last. It's fine.
Okay. Actually, during the AI Summit, I have a workshop of my own. It'll be a 4-hour workshop after the summit proper, and it's going to be all about local LLMs, because my personal thinking is that the future of LLMs in cybersecurity will be local, and at some point we'll be doing a lot more development of individual things. Anyway, so you've got two LLMs, you'll be having them talk to each other using Tailscale. You'll set up and configure your own custom LLM, all kinds of fun tips, tricks, and traps.
The key is to know how to do this. You got like
I'm gonna show you.
cannot depend on, like we highlighted it multiple times in this episode. You cannot purely depend on third-party providers. Even if you still have $200 a month for Claude every month for the next 10 years, you still want to at least know how to do it yourself if you have to or if you want to. And there are specific cases where a local private LLM can be more powerful than a frontier model because every tool is a different tool for a different job.
Well, and part of setting this up the way I did is also to provide future expandability, because once you've got your primary LLM server, and then you can, hook up NGINX to it and well, cripes using Tailscale. From that point, you can connect to it using almost anything. And if the information you're trying to protect is so secure that you don't even want to use Tailscale, you can use Headscale. So we're going to talk about lots of ways to make sure that you can build something where, you can attach a RAG stack to it in the future. You can customize the models to meet different specific populations within your organization. You can do all of this stuff, and you can keep it entirely within your infrastructure.
Yeah, and some of the new, like PyDev's coding agent actually kind of works with small models, whereas I've tried to run Claude Code with the Llama models on a Mac Mini, and it's just like the tool calling and the context windows are just too small. But some of the micro coding agents are actually starting to get okay with smaller models.
Yep.
Cool.
Ralph, you have a wireless training environment
Yeah.
thing that you released?
Yeah, it's totally free. Wireless training. It's Tala, and we actually built a Wi-Fi attacking platform. And this actually gets into a really interesting thing that Paul brought up, which is about building feedback loops into wireless or into RF, and specifically with AI agents. And so what we built, right, is the wireless testing lab. And the whole point of this is to attack it, right? So you can learn how wireless works and go through all the process without having to manually build up all of these things, right? So there's full documentation. The code is open source. It's free to use. So you can, if you want to ever learn how to do any Wi-Fi testing, it is all in there. Any kind of network from WPA 2, 3, enterprise, all of that stuff. It makes it super easy to set up. So yeah, kind of cool.
So take SDR, combine it with this, and you get a fun little combination of chaos.
Oh yeah. This is
super important question. It says Tala means wolf. What language?
What's up?
Tala means wolf. I see it on the screen here. Like, what language is that?
What language is what?
Tala mean wolf.
Rust, obviously.
Oh, this is. I think it's written in Go.
No, what language?
The word
what human language?
In
Tala.
what language does it mean wolf?
Shoot. I can't remember what it was. Travis is actually the one who put this one.
That's all right. I could look
Ralph,
it up.
listen,
It's several Native American.
It's Native American. There you
go.
Ralph is more of a kick down the door guy. He's not on the. He's like John, where he's gonna have typos. It's just not language.
Yeah. Good to know.
All right, Wade.
But I'll do the two. I'll do the Wild West Hackin Fest. Deadwood is in person. It's almost sold out. So if you need to buy your tickets soon, get them. Virtual tickets are still available with the training combo, right? So if you want to do virtual and training, you can go for it. So make sure you get on that. Then I also wanted to plug DeathCon, which is Detection Engineering and Threat Hunting. This is also both a virtual and in-person conference. I actually run the San Diego DeathCon. So if you want to come out to sunny San Diego and hang out with me for 2 days, definitely do it. This is like a worldwide conference. So if you are even not in the US, there are several different venues for it. So highly suggest checking it out. The one cool thing about this conference is it's no talks. Well, it's everything hands-on labs. So super cool if you're really into learning and want to actually do things. So,
Ew, I hate learning.
I know. Ryan also wanted to say training in-person combo tickets are still available at Wild West Hackin Fest. So make sure you guys go. I haven't been in a while. I feel bad, but
no East Coast. No East Coast.
No East Coast? I'm surprised there's no one on the East Coast. There's a Florida one. There's Orlando.
Yeah, that Florida.
We have...
Come on, man. We're like the bottom of the state.
You can be even better. Come out to San Diego. San Diego in November. It'll be fine. So
San Diego in November is nice.
Yeah, that's where you
Yeah,
want to be in
it is.
November. Alrighty, y'all. I think that's everything. Thanks for listening. Have fun with your tokens, and we'll see you next week.
Maxim.
All right.
Max out
Thanks all.
those tokens.
Have a
Bye-bye.
good one. Oh, I can do that.
I think I need a new laptop. I don't know what's going on with my Thunderbolt dock. It's
Ooh,
dying.
Ooh.
This is a fancy one too. I have the TS5. I just got it. I don't know why it's
TS5? The
Dude, I
firmware
know.
needs to get updated.
These
I don't know.
Thunderbolt docks cost more than my first laptop does.
I know, right? I
They're
actually had a
insane.
problem with I have one of the studios, and I bought it before it got crazy expensive. Anywho, but only certain ports
Sure.
are actually Thunderbolt, right? That's the thing I actually
yeah,
learned.
yeah.
Just because it's USB-C, and I know I get it. Look, but
It's a laptop, man. All the ports are the same. I
on
can't.
the MacBooks, I think all three are Thunderbolt 5.
Listen, Ralph, do not talk me out of using this as a fake excuse to get a new laptop.
Yes, get
Yeah,
it.
you could make sure. Yeah,
Come
this
on.
is true.
Hold on. What M are you
The
on?
truth
baby.
is revealed.
Is it M1?
No, it's M2.
Oh, loser, dude! M5 is so much faster. Oh my God,
M5.
so much faster.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm about to go to John Strand and beg for a freaking massive M5 Max, fully maxed
Hey,
out. It costs
at
more than
this
my
point,
house.
I'd be happy just to have him get me one of the GTX things.
The
That's
Spark.
Of course, it's gone from like 3,600. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
3,600.
No, I know. I bought
over
my
$5,000.
laptop, the M5, like right before the whole stuff went crazy. Like, I mean, Apple raised their price on everything.
Yes, Apple
5%.
just increased all their
Yeah.
prices. Yeah.
And so, like, I feel like lucky. I'm holding on. My studio's got 128 gigs of RAM. I feel like a rock star. I'm like, I'm a
Dude.
millionaire over here, dude.
That's basically a DJX Spark.
No, it's basically
Yeah.
my retirement plan.
Just hold on to that RAM.
No. That's the hard drives in the home lab. That's the hard
Yes.
drives.
Oh my God,
dude. Oh my, dude. I have sticks of RAM in here that are worth over $1,000 a piece now.
So
I'm
dumb.
like, oh my God, dude. Like,
I know. I
need-
was looking at replacing some drives. I was like, nope, not going to replace any drives. Just going to have to wait.
I'm like, I'm gonna have to ride everything out. And luckily, I bought way too much. Like, I was like, oh, I
Luckily,
need
being
all
a
of this.
hoarder, yeah,
Yeah, I
being a hoarder pays off when there's
I
shortages.
need a terabyte of RAM. It's gonna come in purpose for something. And now I'm just like,
It has.
Yeah, it's your retirement. It's
Yeah.
actually your retirement.